the next episode of the M&M update with the big man, Big M, Mr. AJ Morris.
Hey guys.
And the little M, the tiny titan, Vicky Masita, which is me. So, moving swiftly on from our introductions, because everybody knows who the hell we are now, and if you're not, why not? You've been living under a rock, we've been doing this for weeks, so anyway, go and catch up on the last episodes and things. So, we are a bit of a different one, so you are a week out from your UK DFBA Finals.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we fairly swiftly went into this episode. We had a brief chat about each other's days, but I think we need to come to an agreement as to what we're going to discuss in this one. But I think what we should brand this one as is what's next. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
I mean, you ask me first, of course, as we usually do. Whoever intros asks first. So you sort of run through potential questions that you want to ask as to what I'm doing next, and then we'll move on to you. So guys, you can expect to figure out where's Vicky heading and where I'm heading over the next few weeks at least, and then obviously we'll update you next week with another update with more updates on where we're heading.
And more updates and more updates.
Yeah, I'm lost.
All right. So the last episode we did a rundown of the BNBF British Finals and what actually happened on show day, which was really good. So first off, let's just have a little bit of a rundown of how that last week has gone straight after the show. It's gone quick, right?
Crazy. Like, it doesn't feel like we were in Birmingham. Like what was it, a week ago now, or was it 2 weeks ago? No, it was 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Fuck me. Where's the time gone?
I miss you so much.
Yeah, I miss you more, man. Jesus Christ. We need to sort out immediate meetups once.
Well, obviously. Well, that's happening.
Yes.
Actually, we'll talk about that later. Let's talk about that. So you came off stage, and what did you do next? Did you go out and have an epic binge like every bodybuilder should do when they come off stage at a British Finals?
No, unfortunately not. I said to Jack that I just wanted to have a steak. For some reason, I just really fancied a decent steak. So as soon as I got off stage, my parents who had came to watch, they were like heading home early. So I was like, on your way home, if you could potentially stop by a supermarket and buy me like a really premium steak, like a fillet or a really good sirloin, I love you forever. And of course, as they love me, they went home and they managed to pick up a steak, and it was sitting there in the fridge, and kindly they coupled it with some fresh veg, which I hadn't had in ages, because if you're a bodybuilder, you know that when you carb up and you finish the last few days, you don't really eat veg. You don't really need it, and you don't want it in your stomach either. You don't want the food volume. So to have that was fucking epic. That's all I wanted. And obviously I coupled it with a bowl of oats topped with a little bit more cashew butter than I'd usually have. But I must admit, yes, Vicky, I still fucking weighed it. And I didn't weigh the steak, I didn't weigh the veg or put it into fucking MyFitnessPal or anything like that. So I knew roughly what it was. But the thing is with me and peanut butter, I can't sit down and eat a meal with peanut butter on it until I know in the back of my mind how many grams there is on there. Because if I sat down and I just ate like with an estimate, it would actually make me feel more uncomfortable eating it, especially as I'm doing future shows. So yeah, I did that, and that was perfect. That hit the spot, and obviously I can trust exactly what I was cooking it in, and it's not covered in 30 grams of oil, which has just been wasted. And you know what? When I'm like completely done with shows this year, I will be going out, and I've obviously got a trip to New York it depends what happens next weekend. Obviously we'll touch on that a little bit, but it depends what happens next weekend. But either it will be 4 weeks until the final show last cigar after next weekend, or it will be 4 weeks until New York. So, because New York is literally the Monday after that show, the way that it works, it's pretty crazy. So, I think I will definitely be in a position to start enjoying some foods that aren't, oats and potatoes, as much as I love them. But that was post-show, and then sort of like ever since then, I've just been back on track and continuing to reverse is what's happening at the moment. So to bring you up to date with where things are at, my steps at their peak were at 25k a day, and I brought them down to 20k a day as the change sort of midway through, I think. About 4 or 5 days after the finals. So they were at 25k for a while, and man, that 5k difference made such a difference to my day. Just not having to worry about that final 5k made it's huge. So I'm looking forward to next week, because I'll be tapering them down even more. They'll be coming down to 15 and then 10, and then I'm going to try and do minimal. It really, that part, resting, is fucking tough for me. And I know that you're kind of similar in the way that when people say stop doing cardio, it's oh shit, really? Because I
kind of enjoyed that though.
Yeah.
Don't do any more cardio. Okay.
but what about steps? I like moving, Vicky. I don't. If someone was to tell me to do 0 steps, I'd really fucking struggle. I think that's maybe where sometimes you could look at my peak weeks and think, what would I look like if I literally completely did nothing and rested? Would I look better? It's really interesting to think about that, and that's where a coach might just say, AJ, fucking sit still, sit in that bed and do not do anything. Yeah. And I might look better, you never know. So it's intriguing, but yeah, that 5k made a huge difference. I upped fats from 40 to 45. I can't tell you whether I feel any better as a result of that. Hormonally I'm lean, I'm lean and that's it. So I don't think that manipulations in macronutrients are going to really make much difference at this point. And then recently, over the last 5 days, I added in 25 grams of carbs. So carbs are now at 425 a day, fats at 45, protein at 180. So I'm on 2,800 calories. With obviously NEAT is still high. 20k steps is not low. It's so doable though at the moment with my lifestyle, the way that I live, and having a fucking treadmill literally here. It's so doable to do it that it doesn't feel like I'm doing a lot, when in reality I am. So yeah, I just feel like I'm in a really good spot. But I must admit, mentally, the last few weeks have been tough, Vicky. They've been really tough, because I've lost a lot of my friends that I was prepping with. I don't feel like I've lost you guys, because I still message you every single day. I still talk to you every single day. I still talk to Jack Thorburn every single day. But I've lost Luke, who was prepping with me, who's a client of mine, and we weren't that close, but just having the check-in with him every week and knowing that we were still grinding and hustling and working hard together was really nice. So I feel like
he got invited to the finals, didn't he, at the BNBF? But he's decided not to take that invite. Yeah,
he's got a lot going on at the moment. Unfortunately, he's literally just bought a house with his missus, so he's got a lot on his plate, and he's got certain commitments that fall directly after Miami that he'd have to be back for. That's kind of the decision that I had to make as well, because essentially, if I wanted to go to Miami, not only was there a bit of a federation crossover, but at the same time, I wouldn't be able to enjoy Miami, because I hope to get the invite for the WNBF, and the plan would be to do both, because I really wouldn't want to ever decline the WNBF one. And if I did Miami, I wouldn't be able to go out and smash all the burgers with Louis Smith and and do all the fun things. And I I expect that, you know, maybe in the future with that federation or with another federation, I don't know, I'll get the opportunity again. I don't doubt that, but it's that decision as well was really difficult. So I think I just had a lot of things going on, and I think this week was, or at least from maybe yesterday, day before, realistically was the only days that I felt like, whoa, like now I'm back down on a level, and now I feel okay again. But it's been mentally really quite draining stuff, like, you know, and then you start to sort of question yourself about, oh my god, like am I actually good enough? Am I losing tissue now? Am I going backwards because I've been in prep for so long? Am I losing fullness from certain body parts? Have body parts faded? Am I going to be worse at the next one? And then when you just chill out and you think, okay, I'm actually on more calories, training is going fucking epic, I'm sleeping like an absolute boss, I'm recovering like a boss, and then I sort of say to myself, like, AJ, you're smashing it. Like, just chill. You're doing absolutely everything. You're not doing what you did in 2015, which was wither away. And I have to keep telling myself that. Every time I step on the scale, I'm like, you're not fucking withering away. Like, do not chase this fucking number. Just get up and pose and see how you look. Make sure you're posing post-workout. And don't become this, like, competitive Mo Farah dieter, you know. And you've helped, and I must admit, Vic, like, you've helped a lot with that in terms of securing me into the idea that I'm lean enough. That's something you've really helped with, because it at this stage, guys, like, you'll constantly think you can get leaner. A pro tip, like, when you're lean, don't start sending and sharing progress updates with Vicky and Jack Thorburn, who are two of the most lean individuals you'll ever fucking meet, because you'll keep thinking you could get leaner and you could do this, and especially, fucking Jack Thorburn's glutes, you're like, oh, I've got £1 to come off mine, or £2, or 4, and then you start thinking, holy fuck, like, what am I doing here? But Jack's been amazing as well. He's like, no, mate, like, you're in a good spot. You don't need to drag off any more off this. So yeah, it's been good. I blabbed a hell of a lot there, but yeah, it's been good.
It's all right. We like the blab, though. We like the blab. So moving on forward, then. So let's have a bit of a rundown of what does come next. Obviously, this all depends on what happens this coming weekend. But what comes next for AJ?
So obviously, next week's peak week for the UK DFBA. I got my email last night from Lee Kemp, who runs the federation, and there's the juniors is the biggest class in the entire day. There's 13. Okay. So the other thing that's very interesting, could throw up an interesting day, is that originally the UK part of the show would have a winner. So, for example, last year Daniel Park won the UK, and then
shout out to Dan Park.
Shout out to the Shredder. He won the UK, and then very, very soon after that, literally they'd go off stage, come back on stage. He'd compete against the international athletes, which consisted of the likes of Jay Robinson, and I think there was a lad from Denmark. And Dan beat both of them again and won the UK and international title. So he got 2 titles on the day. The change now is that all the juniors are put together. So the likes of Jay would just compete against everyone in one show for the UK and international champion. So there could be some international guys crop up, and they could be good. They could be amazing. They could, you can think all of these things, but the main thing is I'm just, again, trying to bring the best version of myself, and then do battle. I think the thing that's really settled in my mind now is that I can do battle with a lot of people. Like, there's not a lot of that. It would take in my eyes. I'm not like saying this cockily, but it would take a good junior to beat me. Like Taff. Yeah. Like, Taff is a fucking superb junior. I messaged him the other day.
A monster.
Yeah.
Like a proper monster.
I messaged him the other day and I said, what was your stage weight out of interest, mate? And he was 25 pounds heavier than me on stage.
Shit.
Yeah.
You could see it though, you could see it.
Yeah. So it will take a good junior to sort of throw me off, or at least knock me down places, which is exciting. And I'm very excited for the battle that will be. And I'm also excited to see sort of Steve compete. He'll be on much later in the day. The day looks like a very long day. With obviously the pro classes in the middle, and then you've got sort of the men's weight categories at the end, and then the overall. So it'll be a long and exciting day, which is great. I've got a few friends competing in bikini as well. So shout out to any of those girls there. So that'll be next week. So peaking for that, and then I don't know exactly how the qualification process works, because I've heard different things from different people as to how they select the world's team. But essentially, Lee and obviously the other people in the UK DFBA decide who gets on the world's team, and the world's team at the UK DFBA go to the WNBF Worlds, which are in Boston, which are November 18th, I believe, so late November, which puts that. Again, that'll be another 4 weeks. If I do get on that team, the immediate thing that I will most likely be doing, depending on how I feel after the peak week next week, I'll be doing at least 3 to 4 days of decently increased food. And I'm talking like above maintenance, because my body will need some kicking up the arse to be able to get through another sort of 4 weeks of dieting. So my plan would be, ideally, do a decent week, maybe look to gain a good sort of pound or two, and then 3 weeks more of in my slow deficit, because I don't think that I could just continue reversing. At that point, I think I would need to give my body a little bit more of a break. But then you can look at the peak week as potentially that will be a decent break, but we'll see how I feel. But most likely after the show I'll be tired, I'll be run down, and if I can give my body a break and then continue to push on, I reckon I'll make that gap, that potential month, let's say, because I haven't done it yet, that potential month a lot easier. And if I don't qualify, I tell you what, guys, it's been a superb season. And I will have to be very humble. I will be disappointed. I will be disappointed because I've poured a lot into this. But if that happens, cool. Straight into continuing reversing calories, straight into an off season, straight into improving, and just enjoying, feeling probably a little bit more normal over time as well. And focusing again on some things that are hard at the moment, like running the business is a little bit hard, like handling a lot of check-ins is a little bit hard. I'm sure you can relate to this.
Absolutely,
trying to if people, like, I've had a few people message me to come on this podcast as guests, and I'm like, I must admit I've said no a few times because I just don't want to do it. Like I always do this one, but I just don't. Sometimes I just don't want to do it, and it's just because I don't have the energy or the drive sometimes to do it. Apart from just getting in the routine of my day, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's fucking hard sometimes, but I'm whatever happens. Like I said, I'm buzzed to get back on stage. I love, me and you are the same. We love the stage day experience. I'm buzzed to, like you said or hinted to at the start, share the weekend a little bit with you as well. And I'm sure that we'll capture it and get plenty of images and
we will.
It'll just be fucking enjoyable. So whatever happens, it'll be good. And that's it. That's the plan. That's what's going to happen.
And I'm excited to see fat-faced AJ again.
Mm-hmm.
AJ's face does tend to change a
fucking
lot.
Dramatically. It's like Dan Park's face.
Oh, do you know what? I love Dan Park so much. I actually shared an evening with him because Zach got married a few weeks ago, as people know. And I went to his wedding reception that was done over here last weekend. And Dan Parks was there, and I managed to... It was really nice actually getting to know Dan Parks more on a personal level rather than just a bodybuilding level.
Yeah.
And that, guys, I think is really important to know as well. You can follow these people on Instagram and Fitspos and things like that, and you feel like you know them on a bodybuilding level, but actually you don't know them. It's like me and AJ, we know each other. We know each other on a very personal, very fundamental level, which is what helps with our bodybuilding prep.
Yeah.
So you can make friends for life in this industry, and me and AJ are one of those people, and that's the reason why we can take the piss out of each other and say that he's going to get a fat face. But yeah, coming back to that fat face, yeah, Dan Park, I actually said that to him and said, you know, I mean, the guy's so shredded, you know what I mean? He's having
Yeah.
and it's just his face. It's like, holy shit, your face is immense. So yeah, you're obviously in the same boat as Dan Parks with your fat face.
Yeah, well, hopefully as we both have fat faces, we'll both have world championships.
Yeah, that'd be so cool, right? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be good. I think he's going to be there over the weekend as well.
Wrap up then for you, AJ. Well done.
Yeah. So let's move swiftly on to yourself and what's been happening with you and where you're at. So obviously a bit of a different situation. And I know that we discussed it last time in terms of you feeling a little bit down and a little bit obviously upset with the result in a sense, and then having some really struggly days that you had to sort of get through as a result of coming off the back of a long prep and investing so much time and effort into it. So how has the last week been, and have there been any more bumps in the road that you sort of particularly like felt like you need to share, or you want people to be aware of in terms of what happens post-show and how you felt? And then I know that obviously you took some progress images and sent me them the other day, and like you're still fucking shredded, like 10 out of 10 shredded, but to you obviously it feels different. So yeah, explain sort of how the last sort of week's gone for you, Vic.
So coming off stage, obviously, as you explained very well there, I was extremely disappointed. I was down. I felt let down by the industry as well. But a lot of people, I mean, I'm actually counting up into the hundreds now of people who have sent me messages of support.
Wow.
Saying that, you know, they completely agreed with ourselves. So thank you to every single one of you who had taken the time out of your day to message me in that regard. It was really lovely.
Amazing.
And that helped bring my mood back up, actually, which was really nice. Now, coming off, I didn't do anything apart from have a shower and scrub the tan off me and go to bed with a peppermint tea. Which is slightly ridiculous, right? Didn't even have a steak, AJ, but never mind. But the following day, I did actually plan on having a breakfast of what I wanted, and then going out for lunch with my husband because the kids were at school, and then just kind of enjoying the day, which is what I did, and it was really nice. Now, I ate over and above my calories of what I was on through prep, and obviously what I was on doing my carb up as well.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I really want to kind of focus on this particular aspect is the feelings that you have coming off stage after you've eaten a lot more food than you were doing previously. You all of a sudden can get this immense feeling of guilt, which is unfortunately what I experienced. And I spoke to Zach about it and basically said, listen, this is how I'm feeling, etc., etc. And he said, you know, everybody goes through it. You've just got to basically get back on plan, get onto your macros that you were doing when we kind of reversed out of it, which was 2,360 calories, 300 grams of carbs, and 45 grams of fat. So I said, yeah, okay, no problem, I'll do that, and then immediately put down the phone and thought, well, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
So because I had these immense feelings of guilt because I'd overeaten, I worked out my calories that I would be on for the week, and then dramatically decreased my calories on the Tuesday and the Wednesday to make the fact that I had overeaten.
Yeah.
So this is obviously what goes on. Now, my mum had obviously arranged for me to go over with my kids on the Sunday for Sunday lunch, and she made me an amazing dinner, and which turned out to turn into an epic binge on the Sunday night. And when I say an epic binge, I'm not talking about people going, "Oh, that's not binge because you had a bit of ice cream." I'm talking about the fact that I finished 4 pints of Ben & Jerry's ice cream, had bowls of granola, had chocolate bars, and then finally I actually stood at the cupboard eating a family-sized pack of Doritos.
Wow.
I mean, that was an epic binge. And I finally stopped after that. And the annoying thing is that I was actually sat there, stood up, eating out of the Ben & Jerry's ice cream tubs and thinking, I don't even want this.
Did you feel hungry?
No, I didn't even. Well, no, actually, I did, but it was a different kind of hunger. It wasn't like that bottom of the pit, your bottom of your pit of your stomach hunger where you did get sometimes off prep when you're too low calories. Yeah, it was more along the lines of the fact that I was bloated, but my brain was still telling me that I was hungry. So it was like you're visibly full, but you're mentally empty. Yeah. It's a really weird feeling and a weird sensation. And I didn't even want the ice cream that I was eating. I didn't want the granola. I didn't want the Doritos. And I ate them anyway. And it was ridiculous. And I hated myself for it as well. And these are and again, the very next day, it was just, I spoke to you, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
And I said, dude, I binged, and this is what happened, and now I'm feeling like shit, and blah, blah, blah. And you said the exact same thing that Zach said, and said, just do not produce the next day.
Yeah.
So because you did that, and Zach called me a fucking idiot, which he always does, which is great, you have a more nice approach to it, and to say, dude, it happened, get over it. Zach's just like, you fucking idiot, what the hell are you doing? You're not going to do it again, just don't carry on.
And that's actually me being quite blunt.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I was like, I said to you, I was like, I'd be really upset if you binged on rice cakes or something.
Yeah, it was like, did you eat shit or did you clean food? That's it. I would have felt better if I'd been on food, to be honest.
Yeah, you would have done.
No, it was shit. Yeah, it was. I never want to look at another cup of ice cream again at the moment. That's how I feel about ice cream, which is a shame because I love ice cream.
It's gutting.
But it was more about the emotional feeling that I had after it. It wasn't the fact that my body was bloated and it looked physically terrible and I felt lethargic and I felt crap. My digestive system was out of whack. It was more about the emotional feeling about it.
Sure.
So that's the reason why I got straight back on track and I stayed with it. And all the bloating's gone and the weight stabilised and my training in the gym has gone absolutely fantastic this last week.
Yeah.
But I do want to highlight the fact that if you do go through a very long prep, I went through 30 weeks of prep. That's a long time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I certainly wasn't restricted, but it was a very, very strict 30 weeks, and I never
no cheat meals. No, well, actually, you did have a few free meals, didn't you? But they were tracked.
Yeah, no, the free meals, I didn't have free meals. I had structured refeeds.
Okay.
So I was physically told what to have.
But before, didn't you have before? Oh, okay. So it was a restaurant, and then exactly what on the menu, kind of thing. Yes,
exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So and that obviously keeps me on track. When I'm just told that I can have a free day, I think that's when my mentality goes out the window.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, and that is down to having the 30-week prep, because previously, before I started the 30-week prep, and I was an avid flexible dieter, and I just tracked everything. If I went out for something to eat, it really wouldn't matter.
Wouldn't phase you, yeah.
And I would enjoy it. Yeah, nothing. But 30 weeks of prep, of being so strict and so adherent, all of a sudden your mentality just kind of goes, fuck it, I've ice cream. I'm going to eat ice cream, and I'm going to eat this, and I'm going to eat that. But emotionally, I felt so horrible about it, so I do want to make that quite an avid point for people who are thinking about getting on stage for the first time. Really have a look at the amount of time you're going to be putting into your prep, and make sure that your mental awareness is aware of the fact that you're going to be going into a long prep, and you structure things properly rather than being so rigid all the time, because it really is, it makes you feel like shit. So, but that only happened the twice, so it was all in 1 week.
Yes.
Thankfully, I'm back on track. Like I said, my physique has not changed at all. I've still got striating glutes. My weight realistically hasn't changed show day. However, back in the gym, I'm lifting heavy ass weights, which I love.
Good.
So I'm going between 6 and 8 reps now, so really going for some heavy stuff.
Cool.
I pulled 120 kilos for 8 reps the other day.
Unreal.
For 4 sets of 8 reps, actually, which was wicked, and that was actually my top set before I started prep. So, if anything, the ice cream gave power, or I just haven't lost that much strength because I continuously hit my training with intensity throughout the prep. I never kind of reduced weights or anything like that. So, it's nice that I'm feeling strong in the gym. And that I can carry on doing that. So so that's been this last week.
Amazing. Cool.
Plans moving forward, I'm going to come and see you next week, the UKDFBA.
Yes.
And probably leave with no voice whatsoever, because I will be shouting at you, obviously.
Yeah.
But we're going to get a training session in on Saturday, aren't we? So you're going to be lifting baby weights, because you're going to be doing a little pump session, and your baby weights will be my heavy weights. So at least we don't have to up-rack and load the bar every single time we're going to be doing a session. But so that's the plan for next week, and moving forward, just to kind of wrap things up very, very quickly, all I'm going to be doing is carrying on lifting heavy, looking at progressive overload, looking at progressively overloading my intake on calories as well.
Is there any body parts that you really want to bring up, Vicky?
Yes, my back and my legs.
Okay. Interesting. Cool.
Yeah.
And how are you going to go about doing that? Are you going to hit them with more frequency, or? Yeah. So what I've done and Zach's put together with me is a really decent training split. Actually, I've got 2 back days. One that's obviously focusing on width and thickness. Nice. And a second day focusing on one day focusing on thickness, one day focusing on width. One day focusing on width and thickness, and one day focusing on width and thickness.
And one day focusing on thickness as well. So we're hitting back twice a week, and we're going to be hitting legs twice a week as well. Chest and delts are already very good, and they already overpower the majority of me. Such a small person. So I only do chest and delts once a week.
Cool.
And I'll do arms once as well, because they get very full and very vascular.
Cool.
So we're going to be really concentrating on that for this first training block. And progressively overloading food. I have kept cardio in, not to the extent that I was doing obviously with prep, but I do think it's very, very important to keep cardio when you come off stage, because it gives you that mentality of, 1, keeping up cardiovascular fitness, and 2, knowing that you're eating all of that food, you are still having to deal with it.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't say it's a good idea just to completely bunk cardio. Especially if you've been tracking steps, it's something relatively easy to keep in. So you'd be kind of silly just to immediately drop it out. If you've sort of been following these up to the BNBF Finals and you finish prep and you sort of ditch all your cardio, and immediately transfer into bulking macros, well, guys, you are going to gain significantly more weight than you need to, and yes, your training performance will go through the roof.
Weight.
Yeah, that's it, and it will be weight that slows you down in the gym, and it will be weight that in 3-4 weeks you're going to want off, and that's where you get into this bad cycle of dieting when you don't need to in your off season. Vicky needs to be in a calorie surplus for as long as humanly possible to make the improvements she needs. And then I'm sure that at some point she'll document some form of a cleanup or a mini cut. But the more time she can spend lifting heavy, progressively overloading both calories and training, the more time she's going to be making improvements. Off season is not a time to be spinning your wheels. And as enjoyable as eating 5,000 calories and doing no cardio is, that'll only be enjoyable to a certain point. And that certain point is 25 pounds above stage weight when you feel like shit. And I guarantee that 25 pounds above stage weight, if you get there in 2 months, 1 month, will look a hell of a lot shitter than if you got there in 8 months. Hell of a lot shitter.
Definitely.
And you'll feel way shitter as well. Pro tips. But yeah, should we sort of wrap it up there, Vicky? And I'll get you to wrap things up.
I reckon we can do that.
Yeah, cool. So I guess you introed our wrap up. So guys, thanks very much for listening again. We need to do our image. So image 3, 2, 1.
What are we imaging today?
Perfect. So
Lovely.
Screenshot, put it on your IG story, or screenshot the sort of the iTunes clip or whatever's on the background of your phone, or even if you're listening to it, getting in steps, #expenditure or whatever it is, or even if you're shoveling some chips down your throat and you're listening to us, that would be epic as well. So yeah, thanks very much for listening, guys, and sort of staying on board. The views and the listens on this are really starting to sort of pick up and grow, which is awesome. And I think people now, sort of, because we've been so consistent with it, they expect it, which is nice. That's really, really cool. That's exactly what we wanted. So we're working our way up to like 50 episodes, and then we'll do 100 episodes. It will be fucking cool. So yeah, guys, thanks for hanging along, and we will speak soon. Cheers, Vicky.
We will. Lots of love.
Cool. Bye-bye.